So let's talk about the Jontay Porter situation. If you guys didn't see, Jontay Porter is an NBA player, brother of Michael Porter Jr. He's an average second year two-way player, which has come out and basically ruined his career. If you guys don't know what happened with him, he basically became the first NBA player to get busted for gambling in the league, and it's kind of crazy because he was betting the under on himself. He was betting on himself to lose, on his team to do bad, well, on his team to do worse, and he was all right with putting the pressure and putting all of these things on himself, and mess up his career, his stats, right, just to get a bit more money. I want to say that Jontay Porter is probably one of the biggest, I'm sorry for the lack of the word, but idiots that we've seen in the NBA history. Look, if it would be a more known player, then I would understand to a degree why they could do this, because you're not somebody who is going to get kicked off the league, or at least you're somebody who can't get turned into a real example. Jontay Porter, he's the Toronto Raptors center. He's been there for 2 years. It's not like he has anything to put out there that is more than what he's already giving them. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm just saying, like, you're a player, which, okay, yes, we need to respect you. You made the NBA. That means you're one of the top players, basketball players in the world. But when you look at yourself and the situation that you're in, what is the reason of this happening? Now, for the people who don't know about the situation, basically, Jontay Porter was seen in a game and in various occasions basically looking to himself and looking like he was going to, do things in certain games, and he didn't do them. And what I mean by this is, like, look, there was if you guys don't know how gambling companies work, basically they'll give every player an over or an under on their points, rebounds, and assists, sometimes all three of those stats together. Basically, those three numbers were mixed for Jontay Porter, and he had to get less than five, right? Points, rebounds, and assists. So basically, you can bet the over or under, and they will double whatever amount of money if you put in. If you get it right, if you get it wrong, then you'll just lose all of the money. Jontay Porter, being a person, by the way, who comes from a good family and who comes from money and who comes from an actual situation of good people and a good support system, was said to have a hand in betting on himself so that he would get less points, rebounds, and assists in certain games. This, obviously, when it broke out, it was more of instances that happened, because I think it was DraftKings Sportsbook, a betting app, which said that they had seen an influx in Jontay Porter unders that same day. So it was obvious that that bet was going crazy. And then he was about to break the 5 points, rebounds, and assist mark, and then he checked himself out of the game basically with an apparent injury. And this is trash because Jontay Porter is an idiot. Look, you're playing in the NBA. You make at least $500,000 a year, which is enough for most people, to live comfortably. He has a good support system. His brother has a max contract, Michael Porter Jr., and he's a player which right now at 24 years of age, you have no reason to be gambling, bro, because it's like you could get a contract overseas, you could play in the G League, you could play in the NBA, and a $20,000 bet placed on yourself is not going to make a difference in your bank account. But what will make a difference on your bank account is the how you play on the court. You know, like yeah, earning $40,000 is one thing, but when an NBA player goes out, plays well, and the fact that now this season, due to the Raptors, problems, he's been getting more minutes, and he's actually been entrusted with being a center for their franchise and actually doing something for them. And the fact that now he comes out with this gambling scandal is crazy. The Raptors are probably in the best situation for Jontay Porter to shine right now. He's actually getting minutes. He's getting 4 points a game, but his stats are going to be trash. He's obviously performing much worse so that he can really clear his unders. And people have noticed this, as I think he is influencing the people around him to bet on him and basically making it worse for himself. He goes out there every night, or at least he's gotten out there in some nights, and you've seen him not get rebounds sometimes that he could have gotten at the end of a quarter. You saw him the other day, there was a clip of him where he shot a three, he made it in off the backboard, and then he looked mad that he made that three. And it's like, bro, you play in the NBA, the best basketball league in the world, the highest paying basketball league in the world, and you are a player which consistently sees minutes on the court. Last season, you averaged 57% from the field, and you were honestly a contributor on your team during most of this season, where you've been entrusted to be a player which put the Raptors up. And even though they're not a good team, seeing yourself in a situation where in a league where the minimum contract is more than $1 million, you see yourself going and betting against yourself so you could get worse stats. And it's sad, and I think it's one of the saddest things that could happen. And I think this is a situation where the NBA needs to make an example out of him and just go and ban him from ever playing in the league again if they find out that it's true that he did this. The reason why is because Jontay Porter is not a player who should be doing this. No player should be betting on themselves. And that's true. Legally, they can't do that. It goes against the league rules. You can't bet on your own stats because then you could stat pad infinite. It's just a conflict of interest if you're betting on your own stats, because then you're affecting the game because you yourself are gaining money from that as a player. So no player should really bet on their stats, but especially a player which at 24 years old, you have the ability to earn more contracts. You have your body, which is healthy right now. You have your brother in the league, which is like you could get signed by the Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr. has the influence over his team where if he wanted to get you signed on the two-way deal in the back end, whatever roster spot they're not using, they could sign you, or you could play yourself into being a player who gets a big contract. Like, look, getting a 2-year, $2 million deal is much more beneficial than betting $20,000 on the under of yourself. And in my opinion, I don't understand why he would do this, because it takes a certain level of stupidity to jeopardize being a basketball player, the chance to play in the NBA. That's like if I go and I'll tell you, right, like, okay, you want to be an American football player, and you can be in the NFL. You just have to be a player which sits behind the quarterback, right? You have to be a QB2, if you guys know what that is. That's the quarterback that sits behind the one that starts. And if you want to be a professional football player and your position is a quarterback, and you know that there's chances for you to get a contract, to see yourself in the field, to see yourself in this case on the court, on the basketball court, and there's a chance for you to really feed your family if you just play well, why would you jeopardize the chance to be in the NBA when you yourself could be earning millions of dollars. And it's not foreign to him, this concept. His brother is making hundreds of millions of dollars in the same league that he is. And his brother, what does he do? His brother's famously known for taking every shot and taking it with confidence and looking to make it. And now he wants to come into the league, the best league in the world, the league which has blessed him with everything that he's ever wanted. Probably, like gave him an opportunity. Now they're giving him minutes consistently. Now they're really putting him up. And he wants to fake injuries, bet on himself, and have this type of behavior. I do believe that Jontay Porter is an idiot.